everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we are taking a look at the Swiss Tech Doppelt. This is a really cool knife. I have enjoyed carrying this knife so much, and spoiler alert, this is actually one of my favorite knives that I've handled all year. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Starting off with that blade length measurement, we're going to do this 4 times. So first of all, our sharpened edge. Coming in here, just a smidge over 2.5 inches of sharpened edge. If we measure all the way back to the bolsters, we're coming in at 2.75 inches on the dot, and that's the sheep's foot blade. We also have this very cool looking clip point blade. Sharpened edge here is, again, just a smidge over 2.5 inches, if you guys can see that. And then we are coming in at 2 3/4 inches overall. I actually could have swore that this blade was a little bit shorter than the other one, but I guess they are exactly the same, which shouldn't be surprising. But anyways, there we go. Let's do some size comparisons. Here is against the Rat 2 and the Rat 1. It is not a large knife. Let's bring out next our USA made comparisons. There is the, get out of there, hair. There's the PM2, and there's the Benchmade bug out. Cool. And let's bring out our Civivi comparisons. There's the Praxis, and there's the Elementum. Shabam. Not a large knife. And to close off size comparisons, let's go ahead and compare against some slip joints. Here is a Case large Stockman and a Case large Trapper. And I think that's going to do it for size comparisons. Some people have mixed feelings about size comparisons. I get a lot of comments of people either saying, you should have compared it against X knife, or I get comments of people saying, don't do size comparisons. I'm going to do size comparisons. I think it's useful. I think it's more useful than measurements, honestly, because sometimes a knife can be a little bit weird dimensionally. It can say one thing on paper, but then in hand, it's like, oh wow, this feels a little bit different than I would have expected from these specs. And so comparing it against other knives, I think, gives a little more of a sense of scale and helps you kind of figure out how big it is. All right, but what are we looking at for our materials? Well, both of these blades are AUS 8. We've got steel back strap, we've got steel bolsters, and we have shredded carbon fiber scales. Very cool. It is, of course, a slip joint. Let's go and cut some stuff. Hey guys, we're going to do some review cutting today, and today we're doing review cutting for the Swiss Tech Doppelt. I think that's how it's pronounced. I actually need to still look up what that word even means. But very cool. I'm very excited about this knife. I've only had this knife for a couple of days, but I'm out here doing some review cutting for other stuff, so I figured let's get the review cutting out of the way, even though I'm probably not going to sit down and film the review for this for like another month or so. But very cool traditional knife. Let's go ahead and get started with those ergos. This is a Barlow pattern, and the ergos are really nice on this thing. Very hand-feeling, very neutral. You've got the sheep's foot blade out there. That clip point is pretty unobtrusive, so it feels good in the hand right there. Let's get that clip point out here. You can, the sheep's foot blade's a little more protruding. I can feel it a little bit more, but still very good, solid grip. Feels very comfortable. How's that action? No half stop on either of these blades, but they do have a pretty good walk and talk. There's a good little pop and snap on both blades. Very good. This feels like a very good action. I do wish there was a half stop, but it's fine the way it is. I have been sitting with this knife watching a movie and stuff, and been having a lot of fun playing with it. Been very satisfied with it. So yeah, there we go. All right. Carry, pocket slip, pocket dropper, whatever. We don't really talk about carry that much with slip joint knives like this. let's go ahead and cut some stuff. So we've got two blades, as we've already been talking about, this clip point and the sheep's foot. These are both Aus 8 steel. Let's go ahead and cut some stuff, shall we? Yeah, that clip point blade, look how thin that is. Look at that. Yeah, that thing just slices like nobody's business. Sheep's foot as well, and of course with the sheep's foot blade, we can get to really, really nice utility cuts as well. Very, very cool. Great, great little performance there. Let's go ahead and do our rope pull. I think with this, we'll do the pull with the sheep's foot. Ouch. Hit my hand on the table, but that felt nice. So there's our pull with the sheep's foot. And we'll go ahead and do our crunches with the clip point blade. 1, 2, oh my goodness. 3, oh wow. Wow. Yeah, that felt good, guys. That felt pretty fantastic. Big fan of that. Oh, let's get the pull noodle out here. I think we'll do, I guess we'll just do one with each blade. Oh, that was almost orgasmic. Blade's a little short, but that's okay. Today, all the review cutting that I've done 3 knives before this one, and all of them sucked at the pull noodle. Some of them because the blade sucked, some of them because the blades are just short, so it's good to actually have a knife that is, oh yeah, handling the pull noodle the way a knife should. Yeah, that felt absolutely fantastic. We're going to get that buoy out again, and we're going to see how thin I can go. We're going to try and go paper thin. Oh, yeah. Oh! Oh! Yeah, that right there, guys, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. That is, look, you can see through that. Yeah, yep. Yepperonis, that felt pretty spectacular. Big, big fan of that. And look, this is just a classy looking slip joint too. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the table. Alrighty, let's talk about what I'm liking and not liking about the Swiss Tech Doppelt. So first of all, that name, which I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing correctly, I might not be, but it means double in German. This is a two-bladed knife, so there we go. That makes sense. Also, I really do like the way this knife looks. This is a sexy, sexy knife. We've got this murdered out theme going on, which you don't see on a lot of slip joints, but it's also very classy. I mean, this carbon fiber looks great. This is not a super expensive knife, and this carbon fiber was way, way nicer than I expected it to be. That's pretty cool. I do enjoy that quite a bit. Also, this is a Barlow style knife. I love Barlows. Barlows are one of my favorite traditional patterns. I think it goes, for me, it goes Trapper, probably Trapper, maybe Canoe, Barlow, Stockman. Maybe I'll make a video of that sometime, but I love Barlows. I always have, and this is my favorite Barlow in my collection right now. All my other Barlows are pretty cheap affairs, but this is a really cool one right here. Big, big fan. And it's a two-bladed Barlow, which you don't see all the time. So that's kind of unique. This is kind of blending elements of some of my favorite traditional patterns. It's like a Barlow and a Trapper had a baby. That's pretty cool. I think it's a lot of fun. I also like the branding on here. They've got the little Swiss Tech tree there on the bolster. That's sweet. And also bolsters are just classy as all get out, right? Especially these longer bolsters on Barlows. This stuff has a titanium coating. And I will say the coating on this guy has held up pretty nicely. I mean, this thing's been banging around in my pocket. I've been using this guy a lot. I mean, you can see the blades are dirty. But we're not really scratching the coating all that bad. So I'm actually really, really impressed with the coating. We've got a couple of nicks here and there. But they're very minor. They are very, very minor. So good job on that coating. Let's go ahead and talk about the action. The action is very good. There is no half stop, which I miss, but oh, that is snappy. Good snaps and pops when you're opening it. Feels very, very solid. The spring tension is exactly where I want it to be. Not too strong, not too soft. Oh, it's just really, really nice. I'm a big, big fan of that. Also, like, I like that we have these long pulls instead of like small nail nicks. Makes getting the blades out a little bit easier, especially this one. We'll talk about this blade here in a little bit. But yeah, I definitely prefer that over nail nicks. The blades themselves are very, very nice. Os 8 is nothing really to write home about, but this is not a super expensive knife, so I'm not upset at all about that. But let's bring out the clip point here. Look at how thin these blades are. These slice like crazy. These are super slicers, and that's something that slip joints have always excelled at, is blade geometry, right? This knife is meant to separate material and nothing else. And my oh my, does it do it, and it does it well. So no complaints from me at all with performance on either of these blades. And these are two really, really useful blades. If you need something that, you need to like poke something or pick at a splinter or something, this clip point blade has got you with this very, very fine tip. You got a little bit of belly if you want to do, a little bit of a long slice. And then this blade, while still being slicey, is a little stronger. You don't have a tip to break off if you're doing utility cuts and stuff, if you're doing pool cuts. Yeah, this blade is going to do very, very nicely for you. And this is a sheep's foot blade, not a spade blade, so that's kind of cool. It's not exactly copying a trapper. But yeah, two fantastic blades on this guy. I really, really like them a whole lot. Another thing I want to point out, actually, I meant to talk about this when I was talking about the branding. I do like, so on this blade they have Swiss Tech and Doppelt. Cool, cool, cool. And on this knife they have the blade steel marking, Os 8, and Swiss Tech again. Very minimal branding. I like that. I think that they placed it well, and they used those two blades very, very nicely. I know some people get upset about the name of a knife being somewhere on the knife. I don't mind it that much, to be completely honest. And especially when it's like this, where it's just small. It might have been cool if the branding wasn't even there and it was just all black, but I don't really mind it. At least they were really considering the branding. They didn't just write out on the blade. They kept it down here on the Ricasso. So I like that quite a bit. Okay, ergos. Yeah, this knife is very, very comfortable. You got kind of this elongated tear shape. Sits in your hand very, very nicely. And yeah, whether you've got the spade blade out or the clip point blade, very, very comfortable for a slip joint. I don't really have any complaints at all. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to a few, well, actually we're not done with the positives yet. I want to talk about the fit and finish. The fit and finish is very good. Again, this is a less expensive slip joint, but you see here we actually have carbon fiber spacers right here. So we've got the back spring, we've got these steel liners, and then we've got carbon fiber back here. That's cool. I like that. It adds a little bit of contrast. The fit and finish on this guy overall is really, really nice. We do have, some minimal gapping in a few spots, but this is a not so expensive knife. And so I think the fit and finish is actually pretty darn good. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. All right. Oh, and another thing is the scales are held on here with T6 screws. So if you wanted to swap these scales out for whatever reason, you could do that. That's cool as well. All right. Moving on to some negatives. First thing is, I do wish there was a half stop. Like it's not the worst. Like it's not a deal breaker or anything, but I do kind of wish there was a half stop. I like half stops, as a safety feature and also because of fidget factor. I just prefer to have my slip joints with half stops. Again, the action, the walk and talk on this knife is very, very good, but I do kind of wish there was a half stop. Next thing, this blade is very, very easy to get out because it's exposed really well right here. The clip point blade's a little bit harder and you don't have too much to grab, so you do end up having to use this pull as kind of a nail nick. And right now, my nails are a little bit shorter. You know, you might want to grow your nails out a little bit to work this guy. You can do it, but it's a little less comfortable. Again, it's not a deal breaker. It's not something that's impossible to overcome, but getting the clip point blade out is definitely a little bit harder than getting that spade blade or the sheepswood blade out. My bad. And next thing, I do kind of wish this entire thing could be disassembled, but I know that that's right. Like most slip joints, you can't take the entire thing apart. And also, if they had a big pivot sitting here in the bolster, I don't think the knife would look as classy. So, you know what? Even though I kind of like being able to take my knives apart, I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass here. All right. That's it. Let's go ahead and go on to my final conclusions. Final conclusions, I freaking love this thing. This is about 35 bucks at Walmart. Get one. Absolutely go and pick one up. This is one of my favorite slip joints now, and this is one of my most carried knives of the year. I've only had this thing, at the time of recording, I've had this thing for little under a month. And it's already becoming one of my most carried knives of the year. I absolutely love this thing. It's kind of classy, so you can, you know, this is kind of a dress knife in some ways, but it's also just a really darn good user. I absolutely love this thing. I love this thing. I think this is a fantastic value. You're getting that marble carbon fiber, 2 blades, really good fit and finish. Really, I don't think there's a reason to not buy it. This is an incredibly cool knife. I am so glad that I picked this up, and yeah, this is one that's going to be staying in my collection. What a cool knife. Do I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Big shout out to my channel members at the cowboy level. If you want to become a channel member and get access to exclusive perks, there's a join button down below. For everybody else, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.